There are over 550 million firearms in worldwide circulation. That's one firearm for every 12 people on the planet. The only question is, how do we arm the other 11?
Are you excited to get a glimpse into the American crime drama film of 2005, Lord of War? Hi friends, we're so excited to have you back on our channel. At the start of the movie, Yuri Orlov appears to be an ordinary man, but eventually he starts a weapon business and becomes the biggest weapon businessman and smuggler in the country. Yuri Orlov is introduced in the movie as a character who moves with his family from Ukraine to Burton Beach as refugees. His brother and family together run a family business. One day, Yuri's father tells him to go to the restaurant opposite the house and find out what the special dish is. On seeing a gang of Russians fight, Yuri believes he should run a gun business because that seems like the need of the hour. He goes along with his father to meet a gun dealer. He closes his first sale by shaking on a used gun deal. The success of his first deal makes him confident to partner up with his brother Vitaly. He has a dream to take his gun business international. Before commencing his business in 1980, Yuri and Vitaly go to meet Simeon Weiss, an accomplished arms dealer in the weapons exhibition in Berlin, with a business proposal. Weiss rejects his proposal, dismissing him as an amateur. Yuri gets his big break selling M16s following the 1982 Lebanon War, and becomes an equal opportunity seller of weapons to all sides, revolutionaries, terrorists, and communists alike. With time, Yuri develops multiple identities and stores them in a metal security container. He takes the passport whenever he needs to go to do business. He deals in two kinds of arms: white legal arms and black legal arms. Yuri creates a process of conversing through codes for carrying out arms deals. The code is Mother for rocket launchers and Children for Kids Angel King AK-47 rifles. The smuggling of guns and ammunition gets done through ships. Yuri gives high governing officials a big amount to know of any possible issues beforehand. However, there is one Interpol agent, Jack Valentine, who cannot be bought with money. Their first encounter is when Yuri smuggles a shipment of weapons on the ship Kristall. Upon learning that Valentine is after him, for the interaction to work in his favor, he changes the boat's name to Kono. He also changes the flag and registration name. Officer Jack manages to find the ship, but when he opens the container, all he finds are rotten potatoes. He has received false information from one of the government officials to whom Yuri has paid a high amount. He tells Jack that the smuggled items are on another ship. Now this shocked us quite a bit. It turns out that this ship itself had its smuggled weapons hidden under heaps of rotten potatoes. On signing a business deal with a Colombian drug lord, Yuri is paid in cocaine instead of cash. He initially opposes this, but after being shot at, he ultimately accepts the payment. Yuri and Vitaly both get drunk, however. Vitaly steals 1 kilogram of cocaine and takes off. When Vitaly is found after 12 days of search, Yuri finds out that Vitaly has become a drug addict and checks him into a rehabilitation center. Post this, Yuri commences carrying on his arms business single-handedly. Enter the love interest. Yuri meets his dream girl, Ava Fontaine. He books a photo shoot for her as well as an entire hotel so they can have the whole area to themselves. He also rents a private jet to go to New York. After a good deal of flamboyant romance, they get married. They have a child together and name him Nikolai. On the day that Nikolai begins to walk, in the year 1991, the Soviet Union is dissolved as a result of the end of the Cold War. When the war ends, the weapons sale also ends. This news leaves Yuri extremely happy, but Yuri views this as an opportunity and rushes to Ukraine on television. He contacts his uncle Dmitry, former Soviet Union Army general, and commences purchasing tanks, AK-47s, and motors to increase his inventory, describing in detail that AK-47 is the most reliable assault rifle in the world. Yuri informs Dmitry to alter his gun count in the government records as 40,000 instead of 10,000. Yuri then decides to move a military helicopter in a ship. Weiss reaches out and attempts to deal with both Yuri and Dmitry, but both of them reject him. Due to this, shortly, Yuri gifts a car to Dmitry and Weiss. Out of anger, sets up a bomb in the car, and this leads to Dmitry's assassination. Interpol officer Jack hatches a plan to stop Yuri as he ships off a MIL Mi-24. However, Yuri tries his luck by contacting a young Soviet army mechanic who manages to move the weapons. Due to a loophole in the international law, neither of these weapons is considered as a weapon of war, and so they are shipped separately. This forces Jack to let him go. On being approached by André Baptiste's son, Yuri moves on to selling arms to the West African dictator of Liberia, who is a self-declared president. He agrees to pay in diamonds, or rather blood diamonds. Yuri makes a deal of providing him high-quality arms in a week. A few days pass, and Yuri finds a helicopter is following him while he is driving. Yuri stops his car in a tunnel near a container and goes in. Turns out before he found the helicopter following him, Jack had discovered that Yuri will be making a cargo run to Sierra Leone, after digging through the trash below his house. Ava immediately calls Yuri, but he asks her to disregard his words. Jack goes through literal garbage and finds out through shredded paper about Yuri's next illegal gun delivery to Africa without paperwork. Jack makes use of fighter planes to successfully intercept the plane in flight, but Yuri immediately directs the pilot to take the plane to an airport by going through the jungle. The plane makes an emergency landing on a dirty road and supplies all the guns to the local villagers for free before Jack can arrive and arrest them. As he lacks evidence, he decides to handcuff Yuri for more than 24 hours. Post that, he cannot detain him for longer and he will be forced to release him. Keeping Yuri under strong surveillance, Jack visits Yuri's house to meet Ava and reveals to her that Yuri is still a major weapons dealer. She doesn't agree with him and asks him to take his leave. Yuri makes a break for it and heads to Monrovia, where Baptiste invites him to kill the captured Weiss, who simply claims he came to Liberia to sell weapons to Baptiste's enemies. Yuri is resistant but does not inform Baptiste to stop pulling the trigger until he has done so and killed Weiss. But guess what? Weiss still manages to stay alive and later appears in a hallucinated state due to heavy drug usage and informs Yuri once again to take sides. Ava pleads with Yuri to stop, and he does, rather choosing to misuse the resources of the third world nations. However, he despises the business after running it for 6 months. The profit margins are low, and when compared to running an illegal arms business, it is highly competitive. His talent and interest also lies somewhere else. Yuri re-enters the arms market when Baptiste comes to the United Nations to meet him. He is unwilling, but goes when Baptiste tells him that he will pay more than the usual rate. Yuri decides to partner up with Vitali as he trusts him, and now he is afraid about the current climate of Liberia. However, they later determine that the sale is taking place in Sierra Leone. They take their guns and reach Africa to deliver them to a freedom fighter in Sierra Leone. Yuri, Vitali, and Andre's son reach Sierra Leone's destination and start checking the blood diamonds they are going to be paid with. Vitali gets a glimpse of a gathering of villagers pounding a mother and her child to death, and tells Yuri the entire village will be eliminated if the deal comes through. He begs Yuri to end the transaction, but Yuri states it's not their dispute. Vitali responds by taking a grenade and blowing up a truck with half of the guns. Andre's son tries to halt him but ends up losing his life. Upon seeing this, a guard watching the transaction shoots Vitali. Nevertheless, Yuri accepts the deal, leading to all the villagers being slaughtered. He ships Vitali's body back to the United States with him. He gets a doctor to remove the lead from Vitali's body, but one bullet remains and he is held by customs. While being followed by Jack, Ava notices Yuri's security container, which is classic proof of Yuri's arms dealing. Ava takes Nikolai and leaves Yuri. When Yuri calls his folks, his mother replies, "My sons don't exist now." Jack again detains Yuri and tells him that he has a long prison sentence ahead of him. Nonetheless, Yuri confesses to Jack that the real reasons that Yuri should be imprisoned are also the same reasons that he'll walk free, as the people he hoards are often the enemies of the US. He goes on to say that sometimes the US government needs someone like himself to supply to those they rather not be seen supplying to. Yuri foretells that a high-ranking government official will come, congratulate Jack, and order him to free himself because he is an asset. Certainly, though, a high-ranking official does show up, and Yuri is released. He finds himself free to return to selling arms. At the end of the movie, there is a message on the screen that says that the events of the movie were based on actual stories. It also says that while hidden arms dealing around the world flourishes, the US, the UK, France, Russia, and China are the world's commanding arms suppliers. Well, and we've reached the end of the video. Hope you liked our synopsis of Lord of War. If you liked the video, press the thumbs up button. Tell us your favorite parts of the movie in the comments below. We'll see you soon with another amazing video on our channel.